You punched a wall at 23 and thought you were broken. You snapped at someone you love and hated yourself for it. You've been told your whole life, calm down, control yourself, man up. But nobody ever taught you what to actually do with the anger. So it just sits inside you, boiling, until it explodes. Or it eats you alive from the inside. 77% of men say they have no healthy outlet for anger. But suppressed anger is directly linked to heart disease, depression, and early death. Today, I'm going to tell you the truth about male anger that nobody ever told you. Because the problem isn't that you're angry. The problem is you were never taught how to use it. Part 1. The anger you were taught to hide. When you were 7 years old and you cried, what did they say? Boys don't cry. When you were 14 and you got mad, what did they say? Stop being so aggressive. When you were 20 and you showed emotion, what did they say? You need to control yourself. So you learned to shut it down. You learned to swallow it. You learned that your emotions were a problem. But here's what they never told you. Anger is not the enemy. Anger is information. When you're angry, your body is sending you a signal. Something is wrong. A boundary was crossed. You are not being treated right. Part 2. What anger actually is. Scientists call anger a secondary emotion. That means there's always something underneath it. You're not just angry. You're hurt. You're not just angry. You're scared. You're not just angry. You feel disrespected. You're not just angry. You feel powerless. Anger is the mask your brain puts on pain. Because pain feels weak. Anger feels strong. Your brain learned that as a kid. Cry and get laughed at. Get angry and people back off. So your brain took a shortcut. Skip the pain. Go straight to rage. And now you're 28 or 35 or 42. And you don't even know why you're angry half the time. Because you've been skipping the real emotion for so long. You lost the map. Researchers at Harvard found that men who can't identify their emotions are 3x more likely to develop depression. Because they're weak. Because they were never taught the skill. Emotional literacy is a skill, and nobody taught it to you. That's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. Part 3. The 2 ways men destroy themselves with anger. There are exactly 2 ways men handle anger wrong. And most men are trapped in one of them. The first way, explosion. You bottle it up for weeks. Then someone says the wrong thing, and you go nuclear. You say things you can't take back. You break things. You burn bridges. And afterward, you feel that familiar shame. I'm out of control. I'm dangerous. Something is wrong with me. But you're not broken. You're just a full bottle that someone finally shook. The second way, implosion. You never explode. You just shut down. You go cold. You go quiet. You go numb. People think you're calm. You think you're calm. But the anger is still there. Just turn inward. And turned inward, anger becomes something else. It becomes depression, anxiety, chronic pain, addiction. Your body keeps the score. Men who suppress anger long-term are too presses unsensitive to use of vehicles, so it proves the communities between patient oversight as anger on men who suppress anger long-term are 2x more likely. Explosion destroys your relationships. Implosion destroys your body. Part 4. The real cause of your anger. Most men are walking around furious and they don't know why. Let me tell you why. You were promised a deal. Work hard. Be a good man. Provide. Protect. And in return, respect. Love. A good life. But the deal wasn't honored. You worked hard. And you're still broke. You did everything right. And she still left. You sacrificed for your job. And they laid you off anyway. That anger you feel, that's grief. You're mourning a promise that was never kept. You're angry at a world that changed the rules without telling you. And that anger is valid. Let me say that again. Your anger is valid. You are not crazy. You are not drazy. You are not drageous. You are not brazious. You are not drazy. You are not dangerous. You are not broken. You are a man who was lied to, let down, and never given the tools to process it. The anger makes sense. The question is, what do you do with it? Because rage without direction just burns everything down. Part 5. How to use your anger like a weapon. Step 1. Stop calling it anger. Start asking what's underneath. Next time you feel that heat rising, pause. Ask yourself, am I angry or am I hurt? Scared? Humiliated? Find the real emotion. That's where the actual power is. Step 2. Give it a physical exit. Your anger is stored energy. It needs to move. Run, lift, hit a bag, sprint until your lungs burn. Not to punish yourself, to discharge the charge. Step 3. Convert it into direction. The most dangerous men in history, men who had no anger. They were men who converted rage into obsession, into discipline, into focus, into relentless forward movement. Your anger is telling you something needs to change. Use it as fuel, not as fire. Step 4. Say it before you explode. Find one person you can be honest with. Not to vent, not to dump, but to say, I'm struggling, I'm angry, this is why. The men who live longest and happiest are not the toughest. They're the ones who figured out how to communicate before they boiled over. That's not weakness. That's the most advanced form of strength there is. Conclusion. Nobody taught you how to handle anger. They taught you to hide it, swallow it, suppress it, and it's been quietly destroying you ever since. But anger is not your enemy. Anger is energy. Anger is a signal. Anger is a tool. The men who master it don't become passive. They become powerful, controlled, precise, dangerous in the right direction. You were never broken. You were just never taught. Now you know. Let's get to work.